Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video now. What are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. To see, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we take time to take some live questions. However, we don't always have time to get through all the live questions that get sent in, but I want to make sure those questions get answered properly in a video, so I gather up those unused questions and we address them here on companion video. So this is Wednesday, June the 19th, and so these are the questions that we didn't get around to on the John Campea Show earlier today, so let's not waste any time and get right into it. And we're going to pick up with Der Wunderbar, who writes, anyone saw Chernobyl? I like that miniseries. Well, I'm going to guess you've been gone for a little bit, Der Wunderbar, because we've been talking about Chernobyl a lot. The series is just absolutely fantastic. It's breathtaking. It's going to win a lot of Emmys. From all the writing, the cinematography, the directing, best series, best miniseries, acting awards, it's going to sweep up a lot. It's just absolutely remarkable. All right, Jesse Keller writes, sup guys, hope you're doing well. I am doing well, thank you very much. Let's see. If the Dark Crystal prequel show works and works really well, over under 40% will get a sequel to the original movie. Under. As a matter of fact, the sequel the series doing really well, if anything, will only kind of stack the deck against another movie coming out, would probably, if anything else, just ensure a season 2 and a season 3 and a season 4 and maybe other types of series. But I think Dark Crystal is now going to live on television. That's where I think that's going to live now. I don't think we're going to see it get a sequel at any point. So no. It's too late for a sequel to The Dark Crystal, I think. Not enough people saw The Dark Crystal originally, and I think if it does work on TV, then TV is where it's going to live. So I'm going to take under 40% on that. Nat Zgree writes, would love to see you on Schmoedown again. Why not? No, unfortunately, that's not something that's going to happen. Look, I'm not going to go into it in depth or in detail, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. Look, what Christian and Mark and the Schmoedown are doing is great. And technically speaking, they are now a standalone thing, but they're still very much associated with a place that I used to work. And again, I'm not speaking ill of anybody. I'm just saying that, I've made a decision not to be connected to that anymore. And so as long as there's still a close association between Schmoedown and there, I'm probably not going to be a part of it. I probably wouldn't want to be a part of it. But hey, like I said, I'm still very close with a number of people involved with Schmoedown. I think what they do on the Schmoedown is amazing and fun. I'm very proud that I was had something to do with the origins of it, helping Christian out, bringing it and making what he has made it today. What those guys have made it, and it's great. But no, I don't think you're going to see me involved with it in any time in the foreseeable future. Okay, let's see where we at here. Andres Moran writes, hello, John and Rob. Hope you're doing well today. Mexico versus Canada in the Gold Cup. Who you got? Also, have you seen the trailer for Ready or Not? Probably got Mexico in that, but clearly I'd be cheering for Canada. That trailer is nuts. If you haven't seen the Ready or Not trailer, go on YouTube and look it up. It's this young lady who you'd swear is Margot Robbie. I don't remember the name of the actress, but you'd swear it's Margot Robbie. Because, my God, she looks an awful lot like Margot Robbie. Anyway, and she marries into this family, and then, well, I'll let you see the trailer and figure it all out. The one bad thing about the trailer, Andres, I'll say is this, is that the trailer gives an awful lot away. Like, there are some big what moments in the trailer that I kind of wish they had saved for the movie. You know what I'm saying? And that's a little bit unfortunate, but it does look kind of bonkers, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. James McLeod writes, how long until DVDs and Blu-rays are done being made? Well, like we've been talking a lot about how physical media is going to be going away. And the trends are there. They're undeniable. Like Blu-ray sales have dropped by 50% over a couple years. The most major Blu-ray player manufacturer, Samsung, just announced they're getting out of the Blu-ray manufacturing business. It's been an undeniable and unstoppable shift, and it's going away. Remember, I'm not saying it should go away. I'm not saying I want it to go away, but it's going away. But the reality is this. There's still a lot of people who watch DVDs, let alone Blu-rays. I don't think we're going to see them completely go away, at least not within the next 5 years. And really, to some degree, I think they'll always be around in one form or another. Look, vinyl. Vinyl records are still around, right? So I think there'll be a presence. I believe in the next 3 to 4 years, they'll essentially be gone. Like, I don't know if you can just buy Blu-rays and DVDs 5 years from now regularly, like as normally as you could today. I think there'll still be places you could find them, ways you can get them, but probably within the next 5 years, I'm guessing at any rate. Okay, don't know what to put writes. With all the PC culture stuff lately, I miss Married with Children. They should bring it back. Oh, I know. I'll just start a petition. That'll do it. Yeah, petitions will get it done. You know what? The funny thing is, with all this lamentation going around about, oh, everything's so PC now, there's a lot of stuff out there that is still very, very edgy. There really is. Because remember, when Married with Children is on, people were crying about PC culture, and yet Married with Children was there. I still believe there's a lot of very, very edgy stuff. It's just done a little smarter these days. But yeah, I do kind of miss, let's put it this way, I miss early Married with Children. Later Married with Children, not so much, but early Married with Children, I miss that. Bo Big HHB3 just sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Bo. Max G writes, hopefully these surprises are worth it. I'm praying for Luis summarizing the MCU. So yeah, so that's going back to one of our main topics earlier today, that Marvel is going to start adding in a couple of post-credit things with Avengers Endgame. Now, again, I got to reemphasize this. People running around saying they're re-releasing Endgame. No, they're not. It's still in theaters. It's not re-releasing. It's in release right now. So, and it's still in over. Let me look it up here and bring up the official number here, because it's still playing in a hell of a lot of theaters all over the place. So if I go over to see Box Office Mojo, okay, how many theaters is Avengers Endgame still playing in? It's almost playing in 1,500 theaters still. Like, as of right now, it's playing in 1,450 theaters. All right, it's still playing nationwide. So I wish these sites would stop with this misleading thing. It's being re-released. It's in release right now. Anyway, and there is some speculation going around that maybe Luis which is Michael Pena's character in Ant-Man, he's absolute gold in that, will do the Luising of summarizing the MCU. That's great. I would rather them just release something like that on YouTube. That feels like something you should just put out on YouTube, but it'll be pretty interesting to see if they put that in there. Chapa Menjivar just sends in a couple of super chats. Thank you so much, Chapa. Don't know what to put writes, pet peeve, on the nose dialogue, just saying. It depends on it depends on the context. Sometimes on the nose dialogue is very natural, but it depends on the context, because in the wrong context, it really can be annoying and distracting. Chris Smith writes, this just in, WB now coming to Hall H. That is not true. But, you know, one of the big things that we talked about this morning is that while it looked like Marvel was not going to come and do a Hall H at Comic-Con, we knew Marvel would be at Comic-Con, but it looked like they weren't doing a Hall H this year. They didn't do one last year. It's now been revealed by Deadline that they are indeed going to have a big Hall H presentation. What they're going to present, who they're bringing along, they're keeping that close to the vest right now, but it's pretty cool. All right. Ace Infinity writes, I was too young to remember. Were theater reactions for Return of the King scenes, Rohirrim, for Frodo, You Bow to No One, similar to those of Endgame scenes and collective shits were lost? Well, I remember maybe not like You Bow to No One, or that's an emotional part, but like scenes when the riders of Rohan come riding over the ridge, and there are moments like that, yes, at least for the theaters that I was in, got massive reactions. Massive reactions. So now there are things done in Avengers Endgame that were literally built up over 11 years and 21 films, right? Lord of the Rings was one set of 3 films. So you had the advantage in Endgame of having things like they could set up and build up over the course of 21 movies. So like the what do they call the part where all the female heroes gather together for that big rush? I can't remember what they call it. The A something. Anyway, like that is something that can only be the culmination of like 21 films. And then you had those moments, and you had other moments that were callbacks to other films and builds-ups of other films and seeing certain characters together that were in movies separated by 6 years and blah, blah, blah. So there was a little bit more for that, I believe, in Avengers Endgame, but it did have a distinct advantage at the same time. But yes, some of those big moments from Return of the King was in theaters. Yeah, there were a lot of cheers and screams and, hurrahs and all that kind of stuff in theaters at the time. Hector Jeter writes, John, you're looking super high def. Yeah, it's awesome. I've been getting a lot of comments on today's show about the look of the camera. A lot of people ask me if I got a new camera. I did get a new camera about a month or a month and a half ago, which some of you noticed. I've been using a new camera lately. But what is different today was that I just bought a new lens. And I love this lens. It is a Sigma, it's a prime lens. It's a Sigma 30 millimeter f1.4 lens. And I got it, it showed up last night, and I was playing around with it last night, and I was just like, like I just couldn't, I love this lens. And it's crazy how many people have been actually writing in on the show today, commenting on the look of the video, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm super happy with it. I think it looks great. Thank you for pointing it out, Hector, or Hector Jeter. Jason Bell writes, Just in, Endgame will be re-released with new footage. Well, again, it's not being re-released. It's in theaters right now. And it's not new footage. It's like a deleted scene. It's thing they're putting in post-credits. Again, there was a lot of confusion this morning because the first reports that came out said Avengers being re-released with a new cut of the movie, right? Like it's going to be, so people had this vision that, it's going to be a different movie. It's going to have like 10 or 15 or 20 extra minutes of footage and blah, 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 blah. And that's what was going around this morning, which made no sense. So then Screen Rant actually published a quote they did with Kevin Feige, where Feige actually clarified it's not a new cut. It is not an extended cut of the movie. We're just putting in a deleted scene and a tribute, probably a Stan Lee tribute, I would expect, post-credit with a couple of little fun things, whatever. So that's going to be in the post-credit. But again, the movie is exactly the same. And again, I know it's just semantics and I know it's not a big deal, but it is not a re-release. It's still in 1,500 theaters in the country. It's like, I don't know, they're just adding something to the things that are out there right now. I probably won't be going to the theater to see it. I'm not going to spend, I'm not going to buy a ticket and then spend hours in a theater just for that personally. But I think there are going to be some people that will. There will be some people that will. And then about 24 hours later, all the stuff that they're putting in the post-credit scene will be popping up on the YouTube anyway. Brandon Reed puts in a super chat. Thank you so much, Brandon. Amy Berg writes, I cannot stand ads. I'd rather pay monthly. Here, I was talking to this all comes from a conversation this morning about, an idea was floated that with Universal going to be having a streaming service, but you don't have to pay for it. It's totally free. They're just going to have a couple of ads in it. And there's another service that's going to be doing that. Is there a place, and should maybe Netflix have regular Netflix that you pay monthly for with no ads, but then maybe a free version of Netflix where there are ads in it, it's ad supported? And is there a place there? Now, I told Robert, on the one hand, I like Hulu very much, but I pay the extra for Hulu to have no ads. I do. But I will also watch NBC's streaming service, and I'll watch the CW streaming app, and they do have ads in it. And honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, the CW one is pretty rough because they load their programs with ads, load them with ads. And as I was telling Rob this morning, sometimes it'll be like 4 of the same ad in a row. And it's not like 1 or 2 commercials. It'll be like 1 of 5. It's like 5 commercials they're going to play. And they do that anyway. But even then, it doesn't bother me that much. And in an era where we're paying for HBO, and I'm going to be paying for Disney Plus, and I pay for Hulu, and I pay for Netflix, and I pay for Stars, and I pay for Showtime, and I pay for Amazon Prime, and all that kind of stuff. The idea of having a couple of services where all I have to do is put up with a couple of commercials and I don't have to pay for yet another service, I don't know. I think that's going to appeal to some people. I do. Not everybody, clearly, like you, Amy, certainly not everybody. And like Rob, it won't appeal to him. But I do believe it's going to appeal to some people. And I think there's a market for it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'm alone on that. I don't know. Stubble McShave writes, Rosamund Pike just confirmed for Wheel of Time series by Wheel of Time Writers Room in the role of Moraine, I can't pronounce that. An interesting take on the mentor / magician archetype. Listen, Rosamund Pike, you can put her in anything. I don't care. I'm in. You know, we were talking about Rosamund Pike the other day, and I am a little bit flabbergasted at the fact that Rosamund Pike never really broke through to being the A-list superstar that she should be. Because she's got it all. She's got the acting chops. She can carry a film. She's incredibly beautiful. I am at a loss as to why she never became like truly bona fide A-list. And if you ever need convincing of that, just go watch Gone Girl. I mean, it's crazy with her and Ben Affleck. She's nutty good in that. And she can do comedy. She can do heavy drama. She just did that one with Christian Bale. She's fantastic. So anything adding her is a step in the right direction. Brandon Reed writes, over under 30%, J.J. Abrams will become the Kevin Feige of the DC universe with the new deal between Bad Robot and Warner Media under. They've got a sheriff in town. His name is Kevin Sujihara. Not Kevin Sujihara, sorry. Walter Hamada. Sujihara is no longer there. Walter Hamada is like the guy in charge there. And they're having some success ever since he took over. We had Aquaman was $1 billion film. Shazam was widely beloved by critics and audiences. We got Wonder Woman 84 coming out. I don't see why they would make a change there. You know, I think that's fine. Now, we could see Bad Robot, you know, working with and producing with Warner Brothers and DC a Superman movie, a DCEU movie. We could definitely see that happen. But I don't see J.J. Abrams replacing Walter Hamada. They just put him in there like 2 years ago. Things are going very well under his watch right now. I don't see why you would make a change. So I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's not impossible. I'm not going to say 0, but I'm going to take under on the 30%. Jesse Keller writes, Kingsman next year is prequel called The Kingsman. Yeah, I didn't know what the title was, but the next Kingsman movie is a prequel, so pre-Harry and Eggsy days. I don't know if it's going all the way back to the formation of the Kingsman or not. And then after that, apparently they're going to do another one with Eggsy. And I've got no enthusiasm for it. Look, I loved the first Kingsman. Loved it. Huge surprise of a movie. Absolutely adored it. Kingsman 2 was a bad film. You know, I remember I came out of it the first time I watched it. I went, well, I still liked it, but it's just not as good as the first. And then I watched it again. I'm like, no, it's just a bad movie. Kingsman 2 is a bad movie. Now, you may like it, and that's great. All film is subjective. But for me, this is just a bad movie. And I don't like the direction it's going in. And it's, I don't know. I just think I'm going to have to hear good things about the new Kingsman movie before my enthusiasm gets up. Or maybe they'll put out a trailer, you know, a while from now and it'll be great. But right now, I'm just not interested. Star Killer writes, will the Disney Channel movies be on Disney Plus? That's a good question. I don't know. It seems to me like it would make sense, but I don't know what their plans for the Disney Channel are right now. And we'll just have to see, like, will they, like, the only reason or way I'd see you putting those things on Disney Plus is if you shut down the current Disney offerings. And I don't know that they're going to do that. But again, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I don't know. I have no idea on that front. MZod780 writes, John, I am so excited. 1998, The Soldier with Kurt Russell, one of my favorite sci-fi movies. I finally found a Blu-ray of it. Now I can let go of the DVD that I've been holding on to for almost 20 years. That's a good day when you can find that. Now, I can't relate because I don't buy physical media. I haven't bought physical media for a very long time, to be honest with you. But if you can, when you can go from a DVD up to a higher quality stuff, up to HD stuff, that's always a good day, especially when it's a treasure like a movie you really embrace and is a real special place in your heart. That's always really cool. And not enough people talk about Soldier anymore. As a matter of fact, we don't talk enough about Kurt Russell, period. We don't talk about Kurt Russell, period. Backdraft. Anyway, good on you for finding that. I'm super happy for you, dude. Now I just need something like that for True Lies, my all-time favorite action film. All right, Amy Berg writes, really wanted to see Endgame a third time before Far From Home, but they've stopped showing it in my small hometown. When will it come out on video/streaming? Not long. I'm guessing probably about a month from now. Because the deal that, unless they delay it, but I don't see why they would. Right now, the current deal between exhibitors, that's the movie theaters, and studios is, I believe it's a 3-month window. I believe you got to have it from when the movie's released until when you can put it out on streaming home video. I believe it's a 3-month window that can only be theatrical. So if that's the case, it's not much longer before it comes out on home video for streaming and stuff like that. So I'm going to guess within a month or two. All right. Keaton Toothman writes, Endgame has been gone from theaters in my city since last Wednesday, so it would be a re-release here. I'm in Wichita, Kansas, small to some, but biggest city in the state. Also, love you and the show, bro. Well, thank you so much, Keaton. I appreciate that. So, look, the movie is playing in 1,500 screens. That's a lot of theaters still. But that does mean there are probably some places that maybe it's no longer there. I mean, after all, the movie has been in release, where is it, for really 54 days. Wow. It's been, I don't know, it can't possibly be 54 days. That's not true. Is that true? God, it is June. Yeah, I guess it's been 54 days. Anyway, so it has started to disappear from some places. They could, this happens a lot, where a movie's in a certain amount of theaters and then they do a wider release and they push out to more theaters. It's still not a re-release. Again, it's just semantics. All I'm saying is, technically speaking, it is not a re-release because the movie is still out in over 1,400 theaters. So it is not a re-release, but again, it's just semantics. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Technically, it's not a re-release, but if you call it that, who cares? It's fine. I'm not going to get bogged down in the semantics of it. But I do hope that they will, depending on what movie theaters want to do, because it's not just up to Disney, it's up to the movie theaters. I do hope that for a lot of people, because obviously I'm going to be able to see this in Los Angeles if I want. If you live in New York, obviously you're going to be able to see it. But there are probably some towns and places like Amy is mentioning, like Key is mentioning, where maybe it's not playing there anymore. I've got to believe that there will probably be an expansion of it to put it back into some more theaters where maybe it's not anymore. So I hope so that everybody who wants to have a chance to see this stuff in theater, which I'm not interested, but there are a lot of people who are. And I hope that those people do get the chance to do it. So we'll see how they're going to handle that. Anyway, thanks for that, Key. I appreciate it, man. All right. Valhalla Erickson writes, why can't people just be happy that Endgame is A, a pretty good movie, and B, a good love letter to the superhero genre in general? Well, I think Valhalla, let's not confuse with, I don't want us to confuse that people wanting more means they're not grateful and happy with what they have. Look, I think everybody is happy with Endgame. Well, not everybody, but I think the vast majority of people are very happy with Endgame, and they're super thrilled with the success, and they're super happy that it's the second biggest film of all time. I don't think that having a desire to see it capture another accolade necessarily means they're dissatisfied with what they have. I mean, I think they are, but you know, if you love a movie, you cheer for its success and you want it to see it go more and win more. Like, my favorite sports team makes it deep into the playoffs. Yay, I'm super happy with that. Would I like to have seen them win the title? Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy with the progress that they've shown. You know what I mean? So I think most people are happy. I just had my drink backsplash a drop back up into my face, and it went right into my eye. It's these little things that provide you with entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Flow Fruit Loops writes, do you think we will ever see Percy Jackson redone? Yes, I believe we will. You know, somebody brought up Percy Jackson the other day. I actually thought the first one was pretty good. I wasn't a big fan of the second one, but I thought the first one was pretty good. And you know, look, Everything in Hollywood right now is every studio is looking for that franchise. And I think there's potential in Percy Jackson. Even if it means you got to reboot it at this point, I do think within the next few years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, I think another studio will take a crack at it again. I really do. All right, Sid Vicious writes, Nolan's Tenet is budgeted at $220 million. I have not heard that. If that's true, that is insane. That's insane. Shouldn't cost that much. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan. If you're the studio, what are you going to say? No, I doubt it. But that is an insane. I haven't seen that official. You might be totally right. I'm just saying I haven't seen that number yet. But if that's true, that is a crazy number, man. Amy Berg writes, I really appreciate how many hours you put into this show. It's a highlight of my night and my downtime watching you and Rob. Keep it up. Oh, thank you so much, Amy. And yes, listen, I believe, how do I say this? I am so grateful for our audience that I am constantly trying to make watching the John Campea Show as good of an experience as possible. I'm always doing my best. My best isn't always good enough, but I do give my best. And if that means looking for better cameras to make your viewing experience better, if it means getting a better lens to try to make it a more sharp image for you to enjoy more, if it means playing around and buying different microphones to try to give you better audio, if it means working more hours to get, infographics that we can bring up and use in the show to give you information, then I want to do that. If it means, whatever, we're always trying to make the show as number one, enjoyable as possible. Number two, informative as possible. And number three, what's the best way to put it? Enjoyable, entertaining, and enlightening. Let's put it that way. Just maybe a little bit enlightening. So we try our best, but to do that takes a lot of hours and it takes a lot of effort. But I believe that our audience is worth it. You guys, you invest in our show by, some of you literally invest in our show by being Patreon supporters or sending in super chats, which is awesome. But all of you invest in the show by spending your time with us in the show. And so I want to give, again, I'm not the best, but I can give the best I can. And we try our hardest because I believe you guys earn that and you deserve that for us to give you our best because you give us your attention and you spend time with us every day. And it's, I feel a real heavy responsibility to just make the show the best I can. Again, I'm sure that's not enough sometimes, but it is the best I can, and at least I can give that. So anyway, thank you, Amy, for mentioning that. I appreciate that, and thank you for being here and being a part of our audience. All right, let's move on here. Dark Side Reviews just sends in a super chat. Thank you, Dark Side. BMC writes, Bad Robot successfully tackled 3 beloved American franchises, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Mission Impossible. Will the 4th be Superman? Well, a lot of people, look, J.J. Abrams was kind of connected to a Superman project before. We all know about it. I would be surprised. While I don't think he's going to be the Kevin Feige of DC, because I believe that's Walter Hamada, I would be shocked if he isn't, him and Bad Robot aren't in some way plugged in and connected to a DCEU property. I'd be shocked if they didn't do that. I'm almost 100% sure they will. Could it be a Man of Steel? Maybe. I don't know if Warner Brothers has any interest in working with Henry Cavill again. I don't know if Henry Cavill has any interest in being Superman anymore. It certainly looked like that marriage had ended, but who knows, maybe they're going to reboot Superman. Kind of looks like they're sort of rebooting Batman. I mean, who knows? I'm not really clear on what their goals are right now, but let's just say that, BMC. I'd be shocked if at some point he wasn't involved in a DCU movie. I think that is coming, whether it's Superman or something else. Who knows? But I think it'll be something. All right. YC just sends in a super chat. Thank you, YC. Let's see. Fernando Ali writes, what do you think of the Mutant Blast trailer? I have not seen it. I'll be honest with you, Fernando, I haven't even heard of it. Sorry, but I'll check it out at some point. Santez Henderson writes, what if, what's released is the Hulk cut? Yeah, wouldn't that be great? I mean, look. If they told, look, I've already said I'm not going to go back to the theater again for Endgame just so I can watch 3 minutes of a deleted scene. But I will admit, if somebody were to tell me that, John, the whole post-credit thing is going to be like a 4-minute scene of the Hulk really being the Hulk and having a rematch with Thanos. Yeah, I'm probably going back to watch that. One of my complaints, and I love Endgame, but one of my little gripes with Endgame was they completely neutered the Hulk. They didn't give us the Hulk, and I was wanting the Hulk, and I was looking forward to the Hulk. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what the Russos did with Hulk, with Professor Hulk. I appreciate it. I do. I see what they were going for, and I applaud what they were doing. That doesn't change the fact that I wanted to see Hulk be Hulk. We never got to see it. And if you told me that was part of the post-credit stuff, I might be talked into going to see it. Nerds of Porn writes, child play embargo lifts on Thursday night. Yikes. Yikes indeed. Look, I'm not a Child's Play fan, but the trailers for Child's Play have gotten me on board. Seeing that they are holding the reviews until the movie comes out, that is bad faith with the audience. And that is the studio's fork. Folks, make no mistake about it. This is the studio screaming in your face, our movie sucks. We don't believe in our movie. Our movie is terrible. And we just don't want the reviews to get out until the opening weekend so we can make as much money as possible. So, I was planning on doing a double feature of Toy Story and Child's Play tomorrow night. I'm taking Child's Play off the menu. Again, if you're a studio, if you're going to scream at me, we don't believe in our movie. Why should I believe in your movie as a fan? Why should I trust in your movie and spend my time going to a theater to watch your movie if you don't trust your movie and if you don't believe in your movie? Why should I? So I was going to do a double feature of Toy Story and Child's Play. I have taken Child's Play off the menu. If the studio's not going to believe in it, why should I believe in it? But I'm not saying you need to feel that way. I'm not saying anybody else needs to feel that way. I'm just saying for me personally, if you don't believe in it, why should I believe in it? So I'm not going to believe in it. You clearly don't, so I'm not going to. Simple as that. But anyway, too bad too, because I thought the trailers looked great. Let's see. Nerds of Porn then writes, U2's Streets Have No Name is such a powerful song. Totally random comment, but I agree. It is actually my all-time favorite song. I think U2's Where the Streets Have No Name is the greatest song ever written. I really do. I think musically, lyrically, the meaning of it, the depth of it, I just think it's the best song ever written. That's just me. I know nobody else will agree with me, but that's just me. All right. Django19 writes, do you think bashing the studio or directors will become a new trend? There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes drama in Godzilla, Men in Black, and Hellboy Solo. But here's the thing, Django. Those are two different things. People bashing the studio directors is totally different from drama coming to the surface of major on-set conflict, like in Men in Black, between the director and the producer of the film that caused a lot of problems and changes in the movie and made unhappy actors and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is separate from all the drama we heard going on set of Hellboy between the lead actor and the director and the producers and all the fighting going on, blah, blah, blah. The bashing on studios and directors is a totally separate issue from those issues. Issues on Solo where the directors, Lord and Miller, who I adore Lord and Miller, but Lord and Miller, they agreed on a script, they agreed to make a certain movie, and then they were kind of trying to go behind, Lucasfilm's back and make a completely different movie that wasn't the movie they agreed to make. So they got fired. I mean, but all that drama is, I believe, like totally separate from the issue of like bashing studios and bashing things. And I'm not saying either is good. I'm just saying I think they're probably two different things that we shouldn't equate with each other. All right. RC Murray just sends in a super chat. Thank you, RC. And the final one today, and then we're all caught up, comes to us from Jabin Carter, who writes, John, did you hear they're re-releasing the Snyder cut of Endgame? Bum, 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 bum. And the final joke of the day goes to Jabin Carter. Well said, sir. All right. Guys, that will do it for this installment of our companion video. We're now all caught up on all the super chats that got sent in this morning. Thank you to everybody for sending in those questions, not just because you gave us fun topics to talk about, but also because you support the channel while you're doing that. And myself, Ray, Jonathan, Rob, we're all very grateful that you do that. So thank you so much. And just thank you for spending part of your day with us here, guys. Don't forget, the John Campea Show returns tomorrow morning. Me and Robert will be back. We're already working on a bunch of stories for this show tomorrow. Make sure you come back and join us then. That'll do it for me for now, guys. My name is John Campea, and until the next video, Bye-bye.